All right, guys, welcome to Lose Crew MMA. We are getting into the October 30th UFC card for Alexander Volkov versus Marcin Tybura. Now,
This is UFC 267.
UFC 267. Thank you. I originally went with Marcin Tybura. And I say originally past tense. I still don't know who I'm going to choose. I guess I'm deciding in the middle of this video. I'll let the other Lewis take over on this one because he definitely has way more opinions than I do on this card. And I guess I'll follow along and decide as we, midway.
All right, so Tybura, Poland, primarily a wrestler. Coming off of a few good wins. He just had his win against Walt Harris, and I think before that had taken down, TKO'd Greg Hardy, and has a win over Ben Rothwell. Big Ben. That's not too many people in the heavyweight division get a win off of him, but yeah, and then he's coming up against Alexander Volkov. I think Tybura is going to have a lot of problems in this fight. If you look back, more recently, if you look back at his fight with Greg Hardy, Tybura, he was taking a lot of shots. And they're roughly the same size. I think maybe Hardy had a little bit of a reach advantage. He took a lot of shots going in against Hardy and trying to secure that takedown. Now he's got a really big ask with Alexander Volkov. Volkov coming off of a loss against Cyril Gane, who's going on to challenge Ngannou for the title. Has a win. Besides that, win over Overeem and common opponents in Walt Harris.
Greg Hardy, too.
And Greg Hardy, yeah, that's right. Greg Hardy. And here's the thing with Volkov. Struggles with wrestlers. Whenever somebody gets on the inside and utilizes that wrestling, he doesn't really have an answer for it. So it really for this fight, I think it's about if Volkov can utilize his reach. And for Tybura, if he could get on the inside without getting hit too much to, secure that takedown. And I think that's the difference in this fight. I do see it going Volkov's way. He's just he's just really clean striker, especially at heavyweight, and he does know how to use that reach, a la Derek Lewis. He lost the fight, but until he was winning that fight until he wasn't. Derek Lewis gets that bomb from downtown. But at the end of the day, I do see this going Volkov's way. I think he's just a cleaner striker. And I believe he'll probably be able to put Tybura away. I would say maybe a round 2 finish.
Wow, a round 2 finish. I wasn't expecting that one. And I guess the reason I wasn't expecting that one is because, Overeem is probably towards the end of his career, even though, we know that he left the UFC.
I mean, bro, you gotta admit, Overeem put together a nice little win streak going in until he fought Volkov.
I mean, he did, and,
and when he fought Rosenstruck, I mean, this is...
No, he dominated Rosenstruck. He did. He dominated.
Going off topic, but you can't ever really put Overeem out.
Yeah, I mean, he dominated Overeem, but then Rosenstruck, that one hit, that one punch, all the way at the end of the fight was over. But Volkov finishing Tybura. The reason I'm a little surprised on that one is because I feel like Tybura is definitely more durable than an Overeem, Walt Harris. His last few fights, granted, he did have that tragedy with his stepdaughter. Of course, anybody would, empathize with what he went on with him. But he did come in very motivated in that fight right off of his stepdaughter's tragedy, and those few fights after that. For some reason, the guy gasses out. He gasses out. He doesn't have a gas tank. We know Walt Harris doesn't have a gas tank, and Volkov was able to take advantage of that. Overeem, a little older, did put the the win streak together, but again, a little older. He isn't who he used to be. So I'm not putting that much stock into those wins, and I'm putting more stock into Ciryl Gane's win versus Volkov. Now, it does sound like I'm going in the direction of picking Tybura, but I'm still not picking Tybura. Walt Harris, Greg Hardy, those fighters we already know can be a little. They're not as responsible and careful in the octagon, even though a lot of people find Greg Hardy very boring because all he does is point fight. He'll throw a couple jabs.
Yeah, but if you look at that last fight, Greg Hardy was really successful in the stand-up against Tybura. He
was. So the reason I get into those last two fights is because it's like, Tybura, he won those two fights. Greg Hardy was able to, and we're on the same page. That's what I'm getting at. Where it's like he did win those fights, but you can't put that much stock into those wins. And I can't sit here and say, oh, Volkov, he beat Overeem, he beat Walt Harris, he beat Greg Hardy, and then I'm gonna go on the other side and say, oh, Tybura beat Greg Hardy, Tybura beat Walt Harris. They're the same guys. We can't put that much stock into either of those. I mean, I don't think we can. I'm sure some people will disagree with me in the comment section and say, listen, guy, you don't know what you're talking about. You can. But I don't believe you can because they're just never going to be those title contention fighters. I don't think either of those guys will ever be title contention fighters.
I could see Volkov challenging for a title in the future.
Oh, Volkov, but I'm speaking about Hardy and Walt Harris. Those two guys, I don't feel will ever be in contention.
Greg Hardy just he hasn't been in the game long enough, and I don't see him
now. Yeah. Where I put more stock into is the fact that Ciryl Gane was a decision victory versus Volkov, and how Curtis Blades had to hug him. We know what Curtis Blades does, right?
Yeah, that's what I will say about Volkov. He does struggle with wrestlers. Anybody who could really get on the inside and just manage to be able to get the takedown. I mean, if look back at like you said, Curtis Blades, that was just Curtis Blades laid on him the whole fight. He could not stuff a takedown. He couldn't get his shots off, and he fought like he was a shorter fighter because he couldn't utilize that reach.
Yeah.
So.
I mean,
if Tybura can somehow get past the striking and get past the reach, I could see him having some success in utilizing those takedowns. But I just based off of Tybura's last two performances, I don't know. I just don't think that he's gonna be able to get past Volkov's striking. He's a really clean striker and he's accurate. So I think that plays a big part into it. So like I said, I have Volkov taking that.
Volkov, and you think it's going to be actually a stoppage, right?
I do think he could get the. I do think he gets the stop.
Stoppage, wow! So we have a lot of stoppages, a lot of stoppage predictions in this card. I actually agree with the pick. I have Volkov winning. Even though I might have rambled on with all those Walt Harris and Greg Hardy information. But I do have Volkov utilizing distance, not allowing Tybura to get in on the inside, because we have to understand that Blades is a different type of wrestler when he gets into the inside. I don't think Tybura is on that elite level as he is. So I have Volkov, but I have him as a decision point, probably going to take over every single round fighter. So yeah, we're on agreement on this one. We have by finish on that side. On my side, we have by points. And this
It's
has
gonna be a fun card.
It's a really good card.
And you're getting the card for free just with an ESPN Plus subscription. So.
If you're in the U.S., sorry for our Canadian viewers, gonna have to pay for that pay-per-view. This has been Two Lose Crew. Until next time.